Well, everybody, Big Ten football week number 1 has officially come and gone. In today's first video, we, of course, are going to be reacting to the Big Ten games that were played this weekend. We do reactions, then we'll have predictions later. We will also have NFL predictions, so stay tuned for that video, as it will be the first NFL prediction video of the 2025 season, because the season officially kicks off tomorrow night in Philly, where the Cowboys are playing. I cannot be more excited for that matchup tomorrow night. But first, once again, if you are new to the channel, you already know what to do. Leave a like, subscribe, turn that bell on, we do our best to post on this channel every single day, and it helps us out a lot. So if you could hit that sub button, that would be amazing, and it would automatically get you updated for when our latest videos drop. We usually drop 3 per day. So if you're into sports content, this is the place for you. And without further ado, let us go ahead and hop into these Big Ten week number 1 reactions. So kicking us off on Friday night in the Big Ten, we had Michigan State beating Western Michigan 23-6. Aiden Childs, the quarterback for Michigan State, did throw for a touchdown, which is really good because I actually pulled a couple of his numbered cards in Bowman Chrome. I opened cards on the side for the most part, if you guys don't know that. And I pulled a couple of his cards, which I need him to pop off this year in the Big Ten. That's my quarterback who I need to pop off in Big Ten play so that his cards will go really well. Also, running back for Michigan State rushed for a touchdown. However, it was Western Michigan's receiver that led the way. So they tried to distribute the ball, is what I can tell, but Big Ten defense obviously is going to get you every single time, especially with Western Michigan. Western Illinois versus Illinois, of course. This game had a punt return for a touchdown, which was absolutely wild to see, obviously. But Illinois did throw for 3 touchdowns. Of course, the wide receiver for Illinois catching 2 touchdowns. And then, of course, Betty, who did have the kick return for a touchdown, had 108 yards on the ground catching-wise, receiving-wise, I guess. I don't know what I'm saying right now. It's early in the morning, guys, so bear with me, but we will get through this together. He had 108 receiving yards and that punt return touchdown, which was just electric to see, right? That's what you want to see from a top 15 team coming into week number 1, especially when you play an FCS opponent. So they get the job done, and they have a tough opponent at Duke, who we've already predicted them to win that matchup. But hey, it is what it is. Now, moving on, these matchups were on Thursday. I'm not sure why that ESPN is goofing up right now, but hey, it is what it is. Ohio going into Rutgers. Rutgers narrowly escaping this one. I thought it was going to be more of a blowout game, but hey, Rutgers quarterback threw for 2 touchdowns. Obviously, the Ohio quarterback rushed for a touchdown, which was really cool to see. Navarro rushed for a touchdown, and then Hendrickson, I believe, the Ohio wide receiver, caught for 115 yards. So it looked like they were trying to distribute the ball and make some plays on this Rutgers defense. Again, when you compete in the Big 12 against these Big 12 teams, you got to have really solid defense. So that is my takeaway from that one. The Big 10 teams are probably going to win these matchups 100% of the time, or at least 99% of the time. Buffalo going into Minnesota. I thought Buffalo was going to upset Minnesota. That was my quote-unquote upset pick of the week. However, Drake Lindsey, the quarterback for Minnesota, did have 200 yards and 2 passing touchdowns, which was really nice to see. Almost 300 yards, actually. 290 passing yards and 2 touchdowns on the day. While the running back for Minnesota had almost 150 rushing yards as well. So they were getting in rhythm, and it looks like they were in midseason form as well. So good on Minnesota as they get the job done in that matchup. Nebraska at Cincinnati. We talked about that in our Big Ten reaction video. So again, I thought Dylan Raiola looked really calm and collected in the pocket, especially in that second half, which led them to victory. I thought the defense for Nebraska clutched up when it needed to the most and got that interception on the goal line, which was crazy to see, as that sealed the deal for Nebraska. Of course, Patrick Mahomes left after that one, but hey, it is what it is, right? Then we had a Miami of Ohio going into Wisconsin. Wisconsin shutting out Miami of Ohio. This was a slugfest for the first half or so. This was not the greatest game in the world, but the Wisconsin quarterback, O'Neal, did have 130 yards, 1 touchdown. Not terrible of a day for him at the office, especially against a Miami team. But this Wisconsin team plays Alabama in the next couple of weeks, and they better get it together. if they want to have a chance of going on the road in Tuscaloosa and beating them. I don't think they will, though, because Alabama is just too good, and they did lose to Florida State, which we will talk about tomorrow, so stay tuned for that video. Now, we're going to save Texas Ohio State, right? We're going to save that, for, of course, tomorrow's SEC reaction. So stay tuned if you guys do want to hear about that. Penn State versus Nevada. I was rooting on Nevada so hard this weekend, man. I even had the hat going on Saturday night. But hey, obviously when you play against Penn State and that offense, you're not going to get a whole lot, right? Drew Allard, 217 yards, 1 passing touchdown on the day. Hudson, the wide receiver for Penn State, a touchdown on the day and almost 100 yards receiving. Those types of players are going to be impact players throughout this whole Big Ten season, right? They are going to be what gets you atop of the college football world, and James Franklin has to realize that this year and put it all together, because Drew Allard's not coming back, man. This is his final year at Penn State, and this would be the year for Penn State, A, to beat Ohio State, and B, to possibly win the Big Ten. However, it's going to be interesting watching this Penn State team compete throughout the weeks, to say the least, right? Then we got Montana State going into Oregon. I thought Oregon did what they did. Obviously, more the quarterback, 215 yards or so, 3 passing touchdowns on the day. The running back for Oregon had a touchdown as well. But Montana State's wide receiver led the way in the wide receiver group with 107 yards. So, again, Big Ten defenses are probably going to hold these small FCS teams to very little scoring-wise, which is why they ultimately win the game and get the job done at home. New Mexico going into Michigan. This one was a snooze fest as well for like the first half or so. But Michigan and Bryce Underwood did get it together. I thought he looked really good, especially in like play action plays and stuff like that, because they handed the ball off, and the running back for Michigan did score 3 touchdowns. He had 120 yards on the ground as well. Bryce Underwood, 21 of 31. You know the drill. 1 touchdown pass in his college debut. Nothing too crazy right there. I thought it was wise of him to decommit from LSU, because he was not going to get that starting job at LSU. Let's be real, right? He was going to have to sit behind Nussmeier. So, again, Michigan paying him that much money, why wouldn't you go to Michigan, right? I'm not too mad about that, if I do say so myself. And Michigan does ultimately get the job done behind their new freshman quarterback. Indiana, Old Dominion, this game was a lot closer of a game, but they do get the job done. And, of course, Mendoza's debut as the Indiana quarterback, right? This transfer was hyped up from Curt Cignetti all offseason. Curt Cignetti talking trash. And then they go out and play a FCS-level opponent in Old Dominion. No disrespect to the Sun Belt, but that's what it is, right? And they almost lose this game. I cannot kid you not, right? The SEC is the best conference in college football, and it always will be. That is my takeaway from this game. Maryland hosting FAU, they got the job done. Purdue hosting, of course, Ball State, they got the job done. However, the upset of the week, and I got this upset right, ladies and gentlemen. I said it. I'm 1 for 1 in Big Ten upsets right now. Tulane hosting Northwestern. I said Tulane was going to win because Northwestern's not a great team at all, and they ultimately got the job done in this matchup. So, good on Tulane. They play South Alabama next week, which is going to be a fun one, which is actually the game that I'm going to be at. So, early little preview, I guess you would say, of where I'm going to be this weekend for college football. But I also have high school football that I'm going to announce later today on the Instagram page, so stay tuned for that as well. However, Tulane getting the upset, called it. Let's move on to the next one. USC dominating Missouri State. Obviously, that was going to be as expected, right? Mazzara, the quarterback, 2 touchdown passes, 1 rushing touchdown for the running back Keandre Miller, and then, of course, 90 yards or so receiving-wise for the top receiver at USC in that matchup. Then you had Utah at UCLA. I thought UCLA was going to win this one. I thought Nico was going to ball out, but that's not the case, right? Nico Emeagwali looked absolutely trash from the couple of minutes, I guess you would say, that I actually watched this game. Did not look like the best player in the country by far. Utah gets the job done on the road in the Rose Bowl, so good on Utah as they move on. And then to round us off, Washington taking care of business against Colorado State in the Big Ten. So that is what has happened in the Big Ten. Let me know what you thought of my Big Ten reactions in the comments down below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, turn that bell on as we do our best to post on this channel every single day. Later, we will have Big Ten predictions and, of course, NFL predictions, ladies and gentlemen. The season is back, and I cannot wait to get things started in the NFL 2025 season. So hit that sub button, leave a comment down below. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.